Israel has become the first country to announce a second national lockdown to combat the coronavirus. This comes after a surge in new infections. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said the new lockdown will begin on Friday and last for 3 weeks.
As Israel's outbreak threatened to race out of control, Benjamin Netanyahu announced the unpopular but perhaps unavoidable decision. Today, we decided on a strict lockdown plan for 3 weeks with an option to extend. But as of now, we've decided that the lockdown will last until the end of the holiday. Health ministry executives and hospital managers have warned us that death rates are forcing the application of immediate measures. A part of the medical staff and the hospitals are overwhelmed. Israel has one of the highest per capita infection rates in the world. Over 1,100 people have died. For days, Israelis have been protesting to demand Netanyahu step down for alleged corruption and for bungling the response to the COVID-19 crisis. After the lockdown announcement on Sunday, demonstrators blocked roads at Israel's Ben Gurion airport, where Netanyahu was due to fly to the U.S. to sign a peace deal to normalize ties with Bahrain.
We have a corrupt prime minister who's been charged with bribery, who refuses to go to court, and instead is going to the United States to divert our attention as if there's some magic peace agreement instead of staying here. He's undermining the entire democracy.
They didn't do their job. The economy is in a catastrophe, and they want to put us in closure. This is mad.
Netanyahu will fly back to Israel after formally signing the agreement with Bahrain on Tuesday. When he returns, the crisis will be waiting for him.
Let's get more on this now with our correspondent Tanya Kramer in Jerusalem. Good day to you, Tanya. With coronavirus cases hitting a new high in Israel, how have people been reacting to the latest lockdown announcement?
I think people have been prepared for this in a way. The outline of this had been decided last week, but they only knew, how long it's going to be from last night's press conference by Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. But they had hoped that it will work out differently. I mean, there's a sense here that for a long time there has been no government strategy as to how to deal with this crisis. And of course, it will hit hard of businesses, people who might be put on a temporary leave again, and the economy has not really become better since the last lockdown. And of course, it's also a period now of the high holidays, starting with the Jewish New Year. The lockdown is supposed to start on Friday, on the eve of Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year. And this is usually a period where people are coming together, where families visiting each other. They haven't been really able to travel much over the past months. So all of this together makes it a very difficult time, but also because there's the big question, what will happen after the lockdown? People know now this is supposed to last for 3 weeks, possibly even longer, but then what will happen afterwards? That's the big question.
Israel was one of the first countries in the world to implement strict measures back in March. What's behind the new rise in cases?
Well, this has been discussed here a lot as well. As you said, it looked quite fine after the first lockdown in May, and then the economy was opened up quite quickly. And even the Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, has acknowledged that was maybe a bit too fast at the time. But there was a lot of concern over the economic fallout. But of course, then there was a sense that for a long time, this coalition government has not been doing enough, at least that's the sense of the public here, to put in place a real strategy. Like track and tracing didn't really work. They only put in place last week nighttime curfews in communities with high infection rates. That's the only thing they could agree on. But with an infection rate that by the end of last week was 4,000 cases daily of new corona infections, the government had to decide now to implement a new lockdown.
And Tanya, thanks so very much for that from Jerusalem. Let's get you up to date now with some of the latest developments in the pandemic. The World Health Organization has reported a record one-day rise in cases of the coronavirus globally. Just under 308,000 positive cases were reported in the previous 24 hours. South Korea has reported its lowest amount of daily cases in about a month. The country has now begun easing its tough social distancing rules. And U.S. President Donald Trump has held his first fully indoor rally in months. The event outraged Nevada state officials who warned it violated restrictions on crowd sizes.